Well, good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Fortra Tech Summit hosted by Protocol. I hope you're finding some of the content that you've seen this morning useful. So, on the call, we've got Dave and I will introduce ourselves in just a second, but we're going to be taking you through something that we've developed internally called the Enterprise Maturity Model. So, for those of you that don't know me, I'm James, the devilishly handsome chap on the left, I think, as you're looking at it. I'm the founder of Protocol, and for my sins have been in the file transfer world since 1999. So there's not an awful lot that I haven't seen or done. I've been a party to over the years. Very pleased to have built up Protocol to the organisation that it is today. Dave, would you like to just quickly introduce yourself?
Absolutely. Yeah, I'm Dave. I'm a head of technical here. I've been here for 2.5 years now, and I sort of oversee all of the products and services that we provide here at Protocol. So yeah, happy to be here.
Thank you, Dave. Okay, so without further ado, let's dive straight in. So, the enterprise maturity model. Well, what is it? It's a framework in effect that we have developed here at Protocol for a variety of different purposes. But fundamentally, the main reason really is to help organizations understand really the varying complexities of file transfer solutions and how you can scale them from a very, very small tactical installation to a super strategic and very comprehensive and complicated deployment, depending upon an organization's requirements. And so what we're going to do is we're going to sort of step through the document that we've created. A bit Blue Peter-like, but I have one here, and with a bit of luck, we'll be able to share these with you after the event. So, fundamentally, the document is broken down into two areas: solution capability and support capability, and that builds out a matrix and enables you to plot your position on the matrix. And we'll have a look at that in a little bit more detail. But we want to dive straight into the solution capability. So this is really what it is you're using as an organization to move data around into and out of and around your organization. And we're not going to go into a lot of detail here. There's a 25 page booklet for you to work your way through and have a look at in a lot more detail. But really, just to sort of give you the high level overview at this point, it's what we're going to look at there is the different stages of the solution maturity, if you will, and what's good for one organization may be very different from another. So from the point of view of what infrastructure and investment goes into a strategic solution for one organization may well not be the same for another. So it's certainly not a one-size-fits-all approach here, but fundamentally what you as users of file transfer and us as an organization that wants to sort of help you on this journey is to understand the sort of considerations and the factors that influence what you need to do in terms of securing your infrastructure and securing your file transfers. And those are a number of external factors, whether they're regulatory or compliance, reputational, or whether they're sort of internal factors and different stakeholders within the business and how you might want to put some emphasis and some investment into this particular type of infrastructure. And there's a lot more things that you can factor into what that solution looks like as an organization. But fundamentally, the most important thing, and I said it's all detailed in much more detail in the document. It's really about the demands of your organization and your ecosystem and your supply chain. So if we start at the bottom there, so some of this stuff is relatively straightforward and easy to understand. We've got homegrown scripts. A number of organizations will still utilize them regardless of the size, but an organization at the start of this journey typically, and smaller organizations may have homegrown scripts. An initial phase of a solution might well be something that's small scale, might be tactical or departmental, can be open sourced. It can be sometimes it could be something that the larger or the wider IT infrastructure inside the business are not aware of. Moving on up the scale to standardized, this is typically a phase of an organization where we see it's something that's been centralized and managed by IT. So there is a recognition within the business that some infrastructure needs to be put in place and it needs to be centrally managed, and there'll be a level of disruption if it's out of action for any period of time. So it's becoming more important to an organization. And next phase on is the optimized phase, and we say a lot of our customers moving really sort of between standard and optimized and up to strategic, given where we are in the market. But the optimized is a phase where an organization really does understand that it's pretty critical to their organization. It's recognized as a part of the organizational operations. It's likely that it's moving from a single server to highly available, and the investment is being put in place to ensure that technology is robust and supports the goals of the business at that stage. And moving on to strategic, we're looking at something at that point which is really recognized at the highest levels within an organization and is fully integrated into the wider IT environment of a business. And file transfer operations are sort of closely aligned, I'd say, with business goals and compliance mandates throughout the business. So lots of useful additional information in the document, a lot more structure on how to move between levels, and we'll come on to again the matrix, but really it's a case of looking at where you feel your organization fits on this particular axis as it currently exists, and working out where you want to be. Where are you happy with your solution capabilities? And moving along. The other axis on the matrix is the level of support that an organization, so the business user of a solution, what support do you have available to you for the technology that you have in place? Starting off right at the bottom of this this maturity curve is obviously no support at all. It's unsupported. It could well be that it's an open source technology that you put in place. We know that some open source solutions do have some support, some don't. It may well be that it's something that you've written internally. Bob scripted something in PowerShell and then has left. Maybe there's not so much in the way of documentation left, and you find yourself in a bit of a challenging situation. We've had plenty of customers who've sort of worn that hat and wanted to try to get away from that particular scenario. Moving on slightly, so supported by the vendor, and that can be great. And we obviously work very closely with a number of different vendors for the solutions we specialize in. Sometimes time zones don't work very well when they're US-based organizations, and it does rely somewhat on the internal organization having some level of competence to be able to liaise with the vendor, to be able to implement some of the things that they're looking to sort of help you with if there's any problems with the solution. Basic competence, as you'd expect, it means that somebody in the organization, maybe a couple of people, know enough about the solution to keep it ticking over, not an awful lot more than that, and really sort of relying heavily on the vendor support for the technology. So it's a good starting point, and they may well have invested in a bit of training. They may well have looked at maybe CFTA, and we'll talk about our training obviously later on. Intermediate competence. So at this point, an organization really does understand from a solution perspective that it's pretty critical to their business, and they'll have invested in a certain amount of competence in their internal team. And it doesn't necessarily always need to be the internal team. Some of our customers lean on us for that extra expertise. But it's an organization that has a number of people internally that understand what the solution can do for them, and are thinking, we've made the investment in the technology. How is it we can make better use of this to address different situations and scenarios and business problems and workflow automations within the organization? So really progressing along that path, should we say? And likely you'll have a product evangelist, and they'll have had a fair amount of training along the way. And then moving on to level 5 in this graphic, so the advanced competence, and I'm going to lean on Dave here as our head of technical and leading on our services. Dave, how would you describe this particular aspect?
Yeah, I think coming from my background of managing MSPs with a heavy focus on support, right, helping customers hit this level of advanced competence is exciting to me, and I'll expand on this a little bit more than maybe some of the previous steps there. But looking at this advanced competence piece, it's important to reiterate here that not all organizations need to strive to hit this, right? In effect, the two axes of the chart are somewhat related in some way. If you've got a massive reliance on it and you're up to 5 in the capability side, then you're probably going to be pushing up to those higher parts on the support side as well. But in organizations where they manage their file transfer, where the file transfer solution is small, it's not business critical, available technical resources low, it doesn't make commercial sense to invest time and money in hitting all of the requirements that fall into the advanced competence side. That being said, if it's critical to your business function, it's large in scale, it's complex in its function, regularly being changed and configured to meet new needs, then this is going to be that step that you strive for, this support that you strive for. So looking at an ideal scenario of a company that has the resource and really needs to hit this level, what we'd be looking at really is a set of internal MFT experts. They're the ones that have had appropriate training on the product itself, but also likely CFTE accredited experts, which we'll get into a little bit later, and their solution is regularly maintained and updated, which is incredibly important for support, right? Sure. So they should be receiving constant regular training and likely have some sort of premium external support available just to support their internal team if they really need it. And the reason I say premium support is because you need that extra level. You've already got experts in the company, but we need the top tier experts outside to deal with any of those problems that we've never seen internally before. And finally, sort of managed services or regular professional services from a consultancy to assist with upgrades, training, migrations, changes, and maintenance. So these are the non-day-to-day items, right? These are the out of the blue items that we might need to have, or those planned changes that might need to occur just once or twice a year. So really, in a nutshell, the internal team should be trained, competent to the highest level, where they're able to carry out all of those day-to-day tasks, but have the backing of a vendor or consultancy company to assist in those non-standard administrative tasks. Ready? But yeah, that'd be the perfect.
Excellent. Thanks for that, buddy. Right, so looking at the matrix that we've alluded to, I've mentioned a few times here, and I don't want to dwell on this particularly either, but fundamentally it's a case of trying to map where you are. So we've looked at the two axes here, the solution and the levels of support, and in working through this matrix, you'll work out where what solution capability you currently have, what level of support competence you have as well, and you can work out where you are. And then it's a case of sitting down with your CEO, CTO, your compliance guys, and maybe some enterprise architects, and working out really what it is you need for the longer term and strategic view of the business, and really where do you want to end up on this matrix. Dive into it, have a little look at it, and work through it with members of your team. Would be my suggestion at that point. Dave, I'm going to hand over to you on the services offering, if that's all right.
Absolutely, this is where I strive, right? This is my job, so hopefully I can perform this slide well. So here we have an overview, basically, of the services that Protocol can provide to support your internal technical teams, to improve your MFT systems and further your knowledge of MFT. So looking at the professional services and managed services there, we've got a team of consultants here able to just offer their years of experience within MFT to guide and assist you with any work you need completing within the platform. We probably have some of the forerunning experts in MFT in Europe, absolutely, with the amount of years and years and years of experience that they've got on the different software solutions there. Professional services is the purchase of consultancy hours, usually used by customers for specific projects, changes, or one-off maintenance. They're sort of one-off purchases that last a year of time. Whereas managed services sort of prepaid monthly hours and includes scope for working more closely with the technical teams in development of MFT systems, and covers any changes which you would historically request under professional services. So some examples of the work we cover under managed and professional services: installations, migrations, project scoping, proof of concepts, upgrades, anything really that you need our consultants help with to get up and running on your systems. But we also offer the premium managed services side, and that is tailored for companies that wish to have their requests fast-tracked, have more of a requirement for continuous improvement and development, or require just more regular calls and regular touch points with our consultants here for planning future projects or planning future expansions of the platform. So we can move then on to the Cloud MFT. It's a service that I could talk about for hours. It's built by Protocol, basically combating all those challenges clients have with on-prem deployments or SaaS deployments of MFT platforms. So in effect, we're offering a hosting service which provides all of the benefits of SaaS and on-prem, but with none of the challenges. So we consider Cloud MFT as a solution that sits between on-prem and SaaS. So servers and network infrastructure hosted by our hosting partner, Jar, who are local to us here, and Protocol take responsibility for the management of the systems and the MFT platform installed upon that system. We even provide administrative access to the servers if that's something you wish to have. So you can actually get access to the desktops of the Windows servers, or SSH root access or administrative access to the Linux boxes that we're installing there for you, which could be really useful for customers just needing a little bit more flexibility from their hosting. They may need a SIEM connector installed on their platform, or they may need to access the Windows logs of their platform. That's something that we can do there for our clients. With most SaaS deployments, the functionality and flexibility of the system is limited, but with the on-prem or private cloud deployments, you have to have the skills and the capacity to manage those, monitor them, maintain them, back them up, etc. There, so Cloud MFT is the solution basically to cover all of that, and a solution that I'm really proud to be able to offer as a company here. Looking at support, which we've sort of touched on a little bit there, but this is the Protocol service of support. We act as the first point of support for all of the products we sell. We have a highly experienced support team which are backed by those consultants to offer the first and second line support to our clients within UK business hours. It's particularly important that we find with our customers because many of the vendors we have are based in the US, right? So their UK teams may be smaller or in some cases are non-existent. So we sort of fill that gap there and make sure that that our UK clients are getting the level of support they need. We resolve over 90% of cases internally without escalation to a vendor. There are times, of course, we need escalation to a vendor for things like licensing or new purchases, or if something's wrong with the license. But absolutely 90% of our cases are all resolved here by our team. We have premium support available as well for those fast track tickets, those clients that really need their tickets put to the top of the list regardless of the priority that we may assign to it, and the ability to book in support agents just in case for planned project work, and regular calls with a technical account manager. And then on to our training and boot camps. I mean, it would be unfair of us to keep all of our knowledge our consultants have accumulated over the years to ourselves, right? So we of course keep them on chains bolted to their desks, but if a release form is signed by a client, we can unshackle them for on-site product training. Training can cover all areas of a product for those that need to have a good understanding of sort of all features and capabilities, or we could dive more deeply into specific functionality of a product. It could be tailored to your needs, though we do offer templated training plans as well. So we could deliver training over a video call on premise, and our training can offer lab systems to get your hands dirty, building workflows, setting up resources. You know, I find it really difficult to learn anything if it's just on a screen and I'm not actually doing that work myself to really stick it in my brain. Training boot camps is a great one that we built last year. It's structured hands-on training designed to bring even the most inexperienced file transfer admins through to a pro in a couple of days. It comes with a CPD accredited exam and a certificate for you to show off to your MFT friends if they exist. But with all of our training, we base it on real world experience. So too much training we find is based on sort of perfect scenarios out there where everything works as expected, and as we all know, that doesn't really exist. So we base our training on the way we find is best to achieve a goal. And then finally, looking at the CFTP certification, actually I'll pass this back to James, as we've got a slide now that will give you more insight into our own file transfer certification.
Thank you, Dave. Very eloquent. Yeah, CFTP. So want to wrap this up. So I think we're getting short on time, but so CFTP is started out as the Certified File Transfer Professional program. It was a course that we assisted with the original content creation for it. One of my colleagues did. We acquired the course, I think it was back in about 2016, 17, and we've been evolving it ever since. You see that there are 3 versions of it now: associate, professional, and expert. Great content. If you're responsible for a file transfer platform, very much worth taking a look at. It's product agnostic, so it's teaching you the concepts of file transfer regardless of the product that it is that you're using. So from an education perspective, really solid. It's the only course of its type globally, and as Dave alluded to, we CPD accredit our courses as well. So if that's something that your technical teams are monitoring, managing, and collecting CPD points, then that may well be worthwhile to them. So I encourage you to take a look at CFTP, and really sort of, I guess at this point, it's a handoff, and a finish of the presentation today. Thank you for listening, Dave. Thanks for your assistance. It's been a pleasure. We've got a Q&A
look forward
session.
To the questions.
Yeah, Q&A session later on. So if you've got any questions on anything that you've seen here, please do be vocal, share them later on, and we'll be happy to assist you with them. So thanks, everybody. Take care.
Cheers.